I told him, I was like, we're gonna get so drunk, I'm gonna end up passing out in this shirt upstairs, and she can wake me up in the morning with like a tap on the shoulder, and she'd be like, "What are you doing?" I'd be like, "What?" All hungover, that little look, like,
"What are you doing here?"
What? She'd be like, "Why are you wearing my shirt?" You know, and I'm gonna be like hammered, like and then he is gonna crash here for a little bit, but he's gonna try driving home in the morning, and he's gonna still be over the limit. And just so happened, God forbid, he gets pulled over. If he were to get a DUI, that's his mugshot shirt. He's going to be in the mugshot with this goddamn shirt with these buttons.
You can't pull this off unless you're a fucking rock star, which I am absolutely not.
Going to be the best mugshot of all time.
I think he's going to call the cops on me when I leave.
I already told him if it happens, I'm paying for his bail. Just in the fact that
he's
picture.
He's definitely calling the cops on me if he's paying my bail.
Honda Accord driving home, 7 a.m. Okay.
He's definitely a drunk, officer.
So, Rob Square.
Let me know when he gets there. I'll come pick him up.
Yeah. Can I take the picture myself? Great intro, by the way.
Yeah, that's nice.
That's what we do. So this is
what are we doing?
Well, we're on the same theme. It's all the same night. This is the same night or the morning, whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
It's guys who want to avoid and guys who want to target. We're mostly target, fade, reach, fade.
Okay, so
this is wide receivers, though.
Yeah, we did QBs, running backs.
Yep. Now we're on wide receivers. This is probably going to be the last one. We'll see how long it runs. My number one wide receiver I want to reach for. I've been warming you up to him a lot. And, I liked him before, and after doing the research for this pod, I am, like, smitten right now. I'm blushing. I'm hard. I'm all about this guy, okay?
I don't honestly, I don't remember who you're talking about.
It's DJ Moore.
Oh, yeah.
Now you know.
Yep.
So, DJ Moore, it's his third year. He's played 3 years. This is year number 4. Right now, he's going off as wide receiver 20, ADP 42, 4th-round pick. In that middle part of the 4th round.
Yeah.
So, he's been solid in his career. He's been really underrated. An awful quarterback play, pretty bad teams. Plays in Carolina. Not a lot of buzz. But I just love DJ Moore, the player. He's an elite athlete. Okay. This guy is a 4.4 guy. It reminds me of Steve
Looks
Smith.
fast. Looks a lot fast.
We were
full disclosure, we're watching his highlights prior to this video.
We'll put some down here.
Yeah. Hopefully that's what we're looking to. We try to invest. We're talking to Brad about getting one of those movie screens.
Mm-hmm.
He does those.
He can afford it.
Well, he does those motion pictures apparently when he's not producing for us. So
come on, Mr. Pitt.
Brad knows. Apparently, he knows a few guys in Hollywood. So we're trying to get one of those big screens that we're gonna do the highlights.
Work in progress. Yeah. So, but he's an elite athlete. Okay, 98% spark score. Which is one of those,
yes. Not Brad.
Yes, no, Brad is an elite. He's elite at a lot of things, but not necessarily an elite. So,
he's the elite.
This is one of them advanced metrics and combine score. A spark score is mostly just like
hey, if it helps your point,
twitch.
Why not?
Yes. Quick twitch. Just guys that are elite at being athletes.
What's this called?
Spark score?
Spark score.
We can look it up.
An acronym or something?
I don't know, man. I just saw it. It sounded great. He's 98%. That means he's very high up in there. Okay, so it sucks that I don't really have an explanation for it, but 98%. But it means the dude's athletic. He's fast. He's quick.
You say it's based off of twitch, like
quick twitch, acceleration, just agility. I don't know.
Well, we'll look it up. We'll see if we can link.
We'll look it up. Yeah. We'll put the definition. That's what I think it is. But that seems very high to me. And there's not many.
Well, 98.
Yes.
Yeah,
there's only 2 numbers higher.
Yeah,
and I don't know if anyone has 100.
So as Hawk Harrelson would say, that's
the number one reason that I'm about DJ Moore is it's the Stefon Diggs recipe from last year, and that recipe is great player. In this case, it's new quarterback in DJ Moore, but different situation.
Okay,
and a chance to really break out. And Stefon Diggs was always a good player with Minnesota. But, it was always something, right? Either he was too much of a short route runner, or he was only being utilized in the long game.
Wasn't getting the touchdowns because Thielen was...
Right. It was always
Dalvin
something.
Cook was...
And look what happened with Stefon Diggs last year. He broke out. So my thing is DJ Moore is this year's Stefon Diggs. Now, what's great about Stefon Diggs last year is you can get him in the 6th round, and you have to spend about a 4th round pick in DJ Moore. Yeah. But...
No concerns with Robbie Anderson, real quick?
Robbie Anderson is going to have a big role. And obviously CMC is going to have a big role. But those guys are also going to open up the offense for him. And he's the best player. I'm not going to say he's better than CMC, but he is the best receiver there.
Yeah.
The third receiver is...
so you just think that...
Terrence Marshall, who they drafted.
You think that Darnold is the reason he takes the next step?
I feel like Darnold can't be worse than the quarterback play he's had.
Yeah, okay.
So it might be better, even if it's the same. I feel like he's had some bad luck. So why I compare him to Stefon Diggs is that he can win at all 3 levels. He's actually done it. He's clearly amazing in the screen game, the short passing game, get the ball in his hands. He's one of the best yak receivers in the league. His route running is superb, so he can win on slots, on digs, on comebacks, on outs, and he is definitely one of the best deep threats in the league.
Yeah.
So he has it all. The thing is, he haven't utilized him. In 2018, it was a rookie, and he didn't play the first couple games. He still had like 700 yards and 3 touchdowns. 2019, they utilized him as the short guy. He had 87 catches, about 1,175 yards. So he was like more the PPR guy. Last year, they used Robbie Anderson in the short role. They only used DJ Moore in that deep, field stretching role.
Yeah, last year it kind of felt like when DJ Moore was having his games, it was because he had like a 60-yard catch.
Yeah.
And his highlights almost said the same thing. Like he was going up over 2 guys and making an incredible catch, but in reality it was in vain. It was for not because the Panthers were kind of mid. I mean, they were competitive, so they were always kind of into it. So there was necessity for that Hail Mary pass, that 60-yard pass.
Right.
So it's. See what you're saying. I'm like you said. I'm kind of coming around to it because he has the ability to make those big plays when it's necessary. Yeah. But if he has a legit role, actually, you know what?
Now let me really sell you on it because when I go down the line here, you're going to be more. All right. You're still a little soft. Yeah, you're still a little soft. I'm going to get you a little bit of that in between. Then by the end, you're going to be.
You're going to get the blood pumping. Yeah.
Yes. So he reminds me of Steve Smith, which is a great comp because they're DJ Moore isn't the big guy. He's 6 foot 210. Steve Smith was 5'9" actually.
So he plays angry.
Angry, right? Steve Smith played way bigger than he was.
Yeah.
And DJ Moore plays way bigger.
I miss Steve Smith.
I love Smith. I don't miss the game against the Bears in the playoffs where he scored 3 touchdowns.
But I love the fact that we watched greatness.
Yeah, he was Anquan Bolden-esque, just a dog.
Bears weren't doing shit that year anyways.
Yeah, they weren't. So DJ Moore is, believe it or not, only 24 years old. He just turned 24 in April. This is going to be his 4th year. So he is, again, the prime breakout age of a guy that's had experience.
Never makes me feel any younger.
Right, yeah. But he's got the experience already, 3 years in the league. He's 24. Like, what else? The crazy thing is Calvin Ridley was 24 as a rookie. Calvin Ridley is fucking 27 years old right now. Like, DJ Moore has had the same experience as Calvin Ridley. Yeah. Calvin Ridley is 3 years older than DJ Moore, and they both played 3 years.
Huh.
Crazy, right? Because he went to Alabama, he got redshirted and played 4 years. Typical Alabama shit.
Oh, shit. All right. Interesting.
So, one crazy thing about DJ Moore is that how many players in the last 2 years you think have 1,200 total yards? This is counting, total yards for receivers. This is receivers only. Total yards could count, rushing yards. How many players in the league? Last 2 years.
So receivers, 1,200 yards.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
2 years or just
the last 2 years.
2 years in a row?
2019 and 2020. How many receivers have 1,200 yards total?
Are you asking for the receivers or how many?
How many? You're not gonna give me names. Should be a lot, right?
I'm thinking Nuke. Fuck.
He's the only one.
There.
He's the only one.
I was gonna say 3.
He is the only one. Hopkins had like 1,165 yards 2 years ago, and he doesn't get any rushing. And like DJ Moore's had back-to-back 1,160-yard receiving years, and he gets some rushing work, like 60 yards rushing. He is the only one with 1,200 yards.
Dude,
in the last 2 years. DJ Moore.
I think I sent you this. I didn't see any YouTuber, Twitter guy fucking quote this. I was just looking up stats actually for the XFL draft. So I was looking for big play guys. So I sorted the category by yards per catch. And then for my personal experiment or analysis, I said, all right, 15 yards per catch or higher. And then I filtered that down to 15 yards per catch, higher, and 100 plus targets. There was like maybe 6 or 7 guys. It was DK. This is last year, 2020. It was DK, Ridley. Maybe Jefferson.
Okay.
There's 3 or 4 guys that were going in the first or second round, and then there was a couple of outliers. One was DJ Moore, who had like 115 or 120 targets.
Yeah, it was like
117. And averaged like
15.9.
15.9. I don't know the exact number, but his numbers were impressive. And then Jerry Jeudy. To me, there was an obvious difference. There was first or second rounders, and then all of a sudden DJ Moore, nice value at 4th round, and then Jeudy at like 7th, 8th round or whatever. But those 2 outliers, it's.
You wouldn't think DJ Moore.
I'm uncomfortable at how comfortable you're making me with DJ Moore.
I'll give you more. It still goes.
More
more DJ Moore, baby. So in the last 2 years, there is only one receiver that has more games of 90-plus yards the last 2 years. DJ Moore has done it 14 times in the last 2 years. The only one that's done it more... No, believe it or not, because he got hurt 2 years ago. It's Stefon Diggs. He has 16 games.
I can see that, yeah.
That was mostly on the back of last year, where he probably had like 9 of them.
Oh, I think Diggs was the guy.
So 14 games in the last 2 years of 90 yards.
That's crazy.
That's almost half the games. So almost half the games.
He's been an elite receiver for 2 years, but no one talks about him.
No one talks about him. So, and the thing about that people are low about DJ Moore is his TDs. They have been low. He has 10 career touchdowns in 3 years. Rookie year, 2 touchdowns. He only started 11 or 12 games. Then 4, which is crazy because with how many yards he's having, he should have about 8 touchdowns. With 1,100, 1,200 yards, like it equals 8 touchdowns generally. Just with the math.
You know, I have to tell you this. I have to stop you here because I hate to say I'm probably going to snipe DJ Moore from you now.
That's fine. I'm sure a lot of other people are too. I'm opening people's eyes to a guy that I've liked.
I stopped paying attention like as soon as I made my mind up. So
I'm going to keep on going just for the points. We did some research for this pod. Sorry, I expect positive TD regression. I expect 8 touchdowns this year. Just because he hasn't had them.
Remind me, he's averaged like 4?
He has 10 in his career.
So
2, 4, and 4. Take the last 2 years because his rookie year didn't play
average
much.
3 and a third. Yeah.
He's averaged 4 the last 2 years.
Okay.
But the nice thing is, last year he averaged 10.1 yards per target. Now that's elite. So that's a big way to gauge receivers for me because elite receivers get 150 targets. So generally, those guys that are getting 150 targets don't average 10 because they'd have 1,500 yards then. They usually have 8, which would give them 1,300 yards.
That's a good Did you find these stats by yourself, or can you...
Man, Brad helped me a little bit, but we were busy and...
Yeah, he said your name.
10.1. It's not just 10.
Yeah,
he's smiling, man. He'll pop in the screen for y'all. Yeah. So 10 yards a target. So, and that was with Teddy Bridgewater, which is crazy. Teddy Bridgewater last year started every game, right? Mm-hmm. He was 27th in the league in ADOT, which is average depth of target. So he was throwing the shortest passes, but somehow DJ Moore averaged 10.1 yards per target with a quarterback who wasn't throwing downfield.
That makes sense.
So
I remember, I'm sorry.
His yak is amazing, clearly, because when he catches it, he's going to run. Because he wasn't throwing downfield. So how did DJ Moore average 10 yards per target with a quarterback that wasn't throwing the ball downfield? Because DJ Moore is an elite talent. That's the only thing I can think of.
Well, no, it was the big plays, like the highlights.
Right.
But those highlights, honestly, are very, very, very impressive. Like
it
reminds me of Steve Smith. Like I could see
because he's one of the best in the league at yak, right? Like when he yak is yards after catch. He plays big. He plays strong. He's a bull, and he can win on all 3 levels.
Sniper.
In 2019, the year before last,
Brad, get my sniper.
He was used in the short game. And this is my last parallel to Stefon Diggs. Because Diggs has had multiple years of weird shit. 1 year, Diggs with Minnesota was a short guy. Where he was catching all the 8-yard passes and he had a lot of receptions. The next year he had like 60 catches for like 1,100 yards, like a DJ Moore year.
Mm-hmm.
So in 2019, DJ Moore had 87 catches for 1,175. So it was like a low yards per catch for him. Last year, 66 catches for 1,193. More yardage actually with 20 less catches. So what I'm saying is that I think DJ Moore has a path for 150 targets. If he has 150 targets, he's going to have 1,400 yards. And he's going to have fucking 100 catches. And the craziest thing is, I'm telling you, he's not going to have only 4 touchdowns.
I think you saw my 4th round receiver
8
problem.
touchdowns. Well, I mean, I might take him earlier, baby.
Nope.
And that's a lot on
nope,
DJ
you
Moore.
on it. I'm taking him.
It was hard for me to limit it because there's just so much stuff. There's so much room for activities with DJ Moore.
You had me at Moore.
There's bunk beds and so who's your guy here?
Wait, what?
Who's your guy?
DJ Moore.
no, fuck you. Just play it back. No, who's your
For
guy
all
to
the
reach
reasons.
on? Yeah, fuck you. I do all the research. He's piggybacking.
So if I had to reach around DJ Moore,
I've already done it.
I would.
Who is?
I would go
guy?
with a man. Let me explain his resume a little bit.
Please do.
Let me explain one thing on his resume that I can remember right now. 7 straight Pro Bowls to start his career. 7 straight.
I know what you're talking about.
And if you want to talk to Devontae Smith, talk about the guy that he's getting comped to, who people hope that he's going to be like.
It's AJ Green.
This man, his name is A.J., spelled A-J-A-Y, Green. So
he's smooth, man.
Well, just
the crazy thing is we haven't seen him on the field for 3 years, so technically,
I know it's been a while.
You know, one crazy thing. Sorry to interrupt in your point. That's what I do.
It's okay.
You know, he's the same age as Julio Jones.
Yeah,
they're both 32.
Yeah, I think that Julio is more. There's a lot of recency bias with that because technically, if you're looking at Pro Bowl accomplishments, All Pro accomplishments, he wasn't a Pro Bowler. He was an All Pro, not Pro Bowl. All fucking Pro 7 years in a row. That means the best in the league for the first 7 years of his career.
His rookie year was amazing. His second year was amazing. It's always amazing. And Andy Dalton.
Well, which I like. Yeah,
okay.
But
go on.
So with AJ, it's people tend to forget that before his last year, this last year when he tried to come back from his injury or whatever, the year prior to that he had his injury, which he kept delaying, and then eventually got surgery because he was essentially requesting a trade at that point in time. The Bengals refused and forced him to stay there. So he said, "Fuck it, I'm going to get surgery. I'm out for the season," expecting him to get cut, or traded in the offseason. Didn't happen. They kept him. Now he's with a rookie quarterback on one of the worst teams in the league.
Bad O-line, nothing going.
And he doesn't want to be there. We made that obvious the year before. People forget that. He still had over 100 targets, and he had the least amount of catchable balls in the fucking league. Him or Judy, they were right there, both at 50% or less. So he's done it not just once, twice, not once,
7 times,
not twice, not
right.
Sound
like LeBron, but he's been amazing.
So,
and he's only 32.
And he was in a situation that he didn't want to be. He finally wanted to go test some free agency, didn't get the opportunity, and then had to leave unceremoniously. And now he just ended up with potentially the MVP of the year. I mean,
Howard Murray, baby.
Opposite of Hop, plus with Kirk and Rondell in the middle, Kyler throwing the ball, Chase and Connor in the backfield.
Air raid offense.
AJ was the number 1 guy in Cincinnati last year when he didn't want to be, when the team didn't want him to be. It was an awkward situation that didn't make sense for anyone. He still has elite talent. If you look at the preseason right now, all the hype is on how good AJ looks. I mean, it's that simple. He's done it before. He's done it multiple times before. He's going to potentially one of the best offenses in the league. He's almost filled out one of the best receiving corps in the league. I mean, outside of Brown and Jones, like who are the name 2-3 receivers better than the top 3 guys in
not many.
Yeah.
And one crazy thing is AJ Green is going 154 in ADP.
Oh yeah. I guess that helps to mention too that you can get him as
you
your
might have mentioned
wide
that
receiver.
early on, but
I don't think I did because to me he's a 7th or 8th round pick that's going in the 13th or 14th round. So
yeah, it's around the likes of Randall Cobb, Marquez Callaway, Jacoby Myers, Jalen Reagor, Sterling Shepard, Sammy Watkins, T.Y. Hilton, Amon St. Brown, Harris Campbell.
Add up all of their All-Pro accolades. And
AJ Green, all their stats.
AJ Green has 7 times more All Pros than all those guys combined.
And the nicest thing I will say about AJ Green with his draft price is, at that point,
cut him. If he doesn't work out.
You know, you're gonna know within 2 weeks if he can play or not. Like if you eye test, right? Like if he doesn't look right, which last year it wasn't that he didn't look right; it was just something was off. He still looked plenty quick, plenty fast.
He's fine.
You know, he was just dropping passes.
I promise you,
yes.
he's rejuvenated. I promise you.
I think so
because he's not. He's playing for. If you don't think players see guys like Tom Brady, Drew Brees, all these guys that like Julio is still commanding a 1st round pick or second, whatever it is, at 33 years old. If you don't see, if you don't think
32, man.
AJ is more accomplished than Julio.
Look at LeBron James, man. He's still the best player in the league.
Maybe not yards wise, because that's the only thing Julio has on AJ, and it's probably not by much. It's probably less than you think.
I love the take, man, and it's an aggressive. It's not even aggressive, but like he could beat his ADP by 6 rounds.
I'll tell you what I'm doing in a lot of mock drafts right now is I am emphasizing my wide receiver 1 and 2 in the it's probably 4th to 8th round. I'm trying to find 2 guys I really like in those rounds, and I'll wait. And I feel like that's a good opportunity because at that point, normally I have my quarterback. The way I'm going right now, I'm trying to get my quarterback, tight end. Tight end's a little iffy, but quarterback and at least 2 running backs in the first 4 or 5 rounds, and then trying to get 2 guys I like in that, like I said, 4 to 8. And then I think AJ Green is a phenomenal guy to wait.
Late round flyer, man.
For like now you have 4 rounds to fill out the rest of your roster. Fill out your backup running backs, fill out your backup tight end, maybe grab that quarterback you missed, or maybe grab the tight end you missed earlier, you know, and start reaching on guys that, or not necessarily reaching, but taking guys that you wouldn't in those rounds, knowing that you can get someone like AJ Green in the 12th round. Or reach on him and get in the 11th, or wait and maybe get in the 14th. Like he's a guy that I think will change a lot of people's seasons.
Love it. So we are going to have 1 wide receiver that we are fading, and this is a shared pick here. And it hurts my soul. It's Stefon Diggs, and we kind of talked about him a little bit with the DJ Moore thing. We both share the sentiment, and it's nothing against Stefon Diggs, but he is a fade for us, and we won't be having any shares. I sound super sad right now. Like I can't. It sucks because I'm usually super happy.
You're super brave, dude. Just keep going.
I am. I know. It's
just push through it.
It's like putting my dog down, dude.
Once you say it the first time, it's like ripping the Band-Aid.
Right. So a little background with me and Stefon Diggs. I've been a fan for a while.
It's okay.
One of the main reasons we even started this podcast was we were talking in the past about just, you know, we always talk fantasy and just all the guys we love. And last year, I would like to say I was higher on Stefon Diggs than anyone in the industry. I had him in 16 of 24 leagues, which is 66%. And I would have had him in more, but I drafted him in 16 of my first 20. And then the last, 4 or 6 leagues, I didn't take him because I just had too many shares. I was passing on him in the 5th or 6th round because Diggs was going in the 6th round last year. Shit.
It's all right. Take that. That's all right, man. Here. Let's just finish it up.
All right.
Stefon will forgive you. It's not a big deal.
It's rough, man.
Just put your mic on. Let's push through it.
I got it. I'll push through.
You're brave, man. So brave. So brave.
So Stefon Diggs.
Yeah,
this one sucks.
Go ahead.
I was saying, had him everywhere last year. You know, the reason we even started the podcast was that I wish I had my Stefon Diggs take from last year, where he was going in the 6th round. I was taking him in the 5th. I didn't even have to go any higher than that, lower than that, as in the 4th round, because I was always getting him in the 6th, middle 6th.
Yeah. You
and
reached
it was
a
just
little
easy
bit
money, baby.
By round, yeah.
And he ended up being, wide receiver 2 or whatever the fuck he was, 127 catches. It was unreal, man.
I reached
And people laugh and You know, I trusted the talent, and like I didn't even project the Josh Allen breakout. I didn't even need that for him to have value in the 6th round. But the problem is nothing has changed. So I still think he might even have the same year as last year. The problem is that you have to draft him in the 1st round, you know, or at the turn. You know, he's going top 15.
Yeah.
He's going wide receiver 3. You're 100% drafting that as ceiling.
I think that's the point. I think that's. I think every other point is going to revolve around the fact that you're drafting him at peak Stefon Diggs, and I know the memories are really fond with you. He won you a good amount of money last year
with my Mixon and Gurley and Odell shares all out the ass.
Yeah,
he bailed me out of so many leagues and won me thousands of dollars.
Dude, I trust me.
6th round receiver.
You actually left your FFPC logged in my house. I saw. So with
it's
me,
not the player. Again, it's not the player. Like, we love the player. We still love the Bills. We still actually like Josh Allen. We just don't think it's going to be...
we both like Diggs, too.
Yeah.
But, like,
the thing is, Stefon Diggs is not a top first.
What does he have to do to, like, outperform his ADP?
Well, he has to score touchdowns because he only had 6 last year.
But throw some numbers. Like what?
Well, he had 127 catches last year.
I know.
160 targets.
He has to do that and more touchdowns. I mean, come on.
And that's just not going to happen. Well, and the thing is, they're still going to be good, but their running game was legit non-existent last year. You
stole my fucking point, dude.
Their running backs had, 5 touchdowns?
I don't know what I'm going to talk about now, Brad. He stole my fucking point.
Well, maybe get your points out. Like
let me talk. How about... Yeah, no, I said it, Brad.
Go on.
No, I'm joking.
Go on.
No.
Now he has nothing to say, right?
Well, you stole my fucking... I don't know what... No,
you didn't tell me that was your point. I just always have good fucking points.
I told you, Brad. You didn't tell him. You didn't email him?
Brad is too busy getting blown by the 3 strippers over there. He doesn't have to pay. It's nice, right? Strippers you don't got to pay. They pay him.
Well, we paid for them. And they're all over there.
Yeah, they don't...
We got 3 of them. There's only one of you, Brad.
Bro.
There's only one of you, Brad. There's 3 of us.
Our shirts are tighter than theirs.
I know you're going home in a little bit. You're going with you?
That conversation with him, but...
You didn't email us, and you got all the... All right, anyways.
Stefon Diggs.
Thank you. Thank you. Get us back on track here.
I feel like the running backs are going to have a way bigger role than they had last year because there's no way they can have less. I feel like...
No, I do...
He was the only target last year, and like Gabriel Davis had 7 touchdowns. On probably some crazy Mike Williams number of
Is he going to duplicate that again?
No, but I feel like he's going to be part of the offense. They brought in Emmanuel Sanders, and he took over. He took over Smokey Brown's role. But Emmanuel Sanders actually is more of a Stefon Diggs type receiver, so he's another guy. And they have Cole Beasley. That's crazy.
How do you mean that Sanders?
You know what Cole Beasley's stat for last year, dude?
Yeah, 80 or 90 catches, right?
He had 83 catches.
Yeah, it's. A
lot of
this is a product of Josh Allen doing well.
Chucking, yeah.
I think 2 of the points that I really agree with you on. One, drafting Stefon Diggs is peak right now. That's where you're drafting him. Mm-hmm. He earned that right.
He did.
But you're only in line for disappointment when you expect more than what he did last year. Simply because...
Not happening.
We both agree. We're both really high on Zach Moss. Mm-hmm. I think the running game is going to be much more heavily relied on. Mm-hmm. I don't want to say that's going to be the identity of their offense, but I think that Zach Moss is going to take a step up. I think
just in general the running game.
Yeah, Singletary. I mean, he's another year. I mean, he's his 3rd year. So it was his 2nd year. I mean, he was a rookie. And then he had a COVID year, which is kind of a lost year. We agree for almost everyone, except for the people that did really well. Most of them veterans. Now you're going into a 2nd year of Zach Moss, 3rd year of Singletary. Josh Allen has to regress to the mean a little bit.